The Elves and the Shoemaker. All right, Jerry Giraffe's listening, Terry Turtle's listening, Freddy Frog's listening, and so is Terry Tiger. So let's start the story. Right, once upon a time, there was an old shoemaker who lived in a little cottage in the woods. One evening after supper, he said, "Oh dear, I'm working so slowly, and I'm worried that we will starve. We won't have enough money." There he is, there's all his nails ready to tap into the boots that he's making. "I only have enough leather to make one more pair of boots," he said. "I don't know what will become of us then." There is only one piece of leather left. Oh dear. After supper, the shoemaker went down to his bench. He cut out leather pieces so that they'd be ready to make shoes for the next day. There's all the leather pieces that he's cut out using his big scissors. The old shoemaker was so tired from working all day that he fell into a deep sleep. The next morning, though, he seemed to remember that he'd heard some strange noises from his workroom, but he told himself he must have been dreaming. But when he sat down at the workbench, he had a big surprise. A pair of fine boots had been made from the leather pieces that he had set out the night before. "Look at these," he said to his wife. "These would have taken me at least 3 days to make." He looked at it through his magnifying glass. "Look," he said, "the stitches are exquisite." "Yes, beautiful," she said, looking at the stitches. The very next day, the shoemaker put the boots in the shop window, and before long, a rich man arrived asking to try them on. "I love them," he said. "I must have them. Tell me your price." There he is trying on the shoe. And he gave the shoemaker a truly handsome sum in gold pieces. Can you see the gold pieces there? "We are lucky indeed," said the shoemaker. "We can afford to eat today," he told his wife, "and I can buy some more shoe leather as well to make more shoes." Off he went to the market, and he came back with plenty of good food and enough leather to make 2 more pairs of shoes. There he is, opening his purse and handing over the gold piece. In the evening, he cut out the leather into pieces before going to bed, ready for an early start. However, the next morning, he came down the stairs, and to his surprise, he found not 1 but 2 pairs of shoes. "They're just as fine as the first pair," he said to his wife. "Who has done this kind deed?" No sooner were the shoes put in the window than friends of the rich man started knocking at the door. They loved the shoes so much that they bought them on the spot. And so it went on. The shoemaker bought leather every day. He would cut it out and leave it on the workbench at night, and every morning he would discover the most beautiful shoes and boots, which would be sold before lunchtime. Wow, look at those lovely different coloured shoes and boots he's made from all those leather pieces. Wow, what a clever shoemaker. One evening, the shoemaker was sitting in front of the fire with his wife. "I would like to know who has been helping us," he said. Why don't we sit up and watch instead of going to bed? So they hid themselves behind the curtain and they watched, still as mice. There they are, hiding behind the curtain. What do you think they'll see? Let's turn over. Towards midnight, the window sprang open and two little elves climbed through, dressed in rags. In an instant, they sat down upon the shoemaker's bench and they picked up all the leather pieces that were out. There they are, little elves. They began to pull and stretch the leather, stitching and tapping it, their fingers racing faster than the shoemaker had ever seen. There he is peeping at the elves. And in no time at all, 4 pairs of shiny boots and shoes were standing on the bench. Then, quick as a flash, the 2 elves were gone. Rubbing their bewildered eyes, the shoemaker and his wife crept back up to bed. Couldn't believe their eyes. The next morning, they could hardly believe what they'd seen. How can we repay them for helping us? Wondered the shoemaker. I know. Let's make them some proper clothes, said the shoemaker's wife. Good idea, agreed the shoemaker. And I will make them each a pair of boots. So there she is, making some clothes for them, little elves on her sewing machine. You see, she's made a lovely little jacket there. And look, here's the shoemaker. What's he doing? He's making some tiny pairs of boots. Oh, wow, green, blue, very, very small. When the elves came in later that night, they went straight to the workbench to begin their work. But they found the little clothes and the boots instead. Look at them. They were really excited to see everything set out ready for them to wear. They both burst out laughing with delight and took off their old clothes and they put on their new outfits and admired them in the mirror. Woohoo! They danced and they capered around, chuckling and laughing at how splendid they looked now. There they are in their new clothes, having a little dance in front of the mirror. At last, they clambered up to the window and they jumped out of the window deep into the night. Here they are running across the windowsill, out the window. The old couple never saw the elves again, but sometimes when they need help, they will leave some leather pieces on the bench, and from time to time, the old man will put out a little jacket or a shirt or a pair of small shoes, and in the morning they will be gone. And that's the end of the story of the elves and the shoemaker. Everybody was listening. The end.